everyone. Welcome back to episode 6 of 98 Dots. Today, my mom will be asking me some Q&A questions about social media. Don't miss her too much. She won't be in the camera today, but let's get started.
Thanks, Yana. What's the one trend on TikTok or Instagram that you think is actually harmful, even if it looks fun?
I think selfies is one that could actually be harmful but looks fun because people can start like pinpointing themselves about things about themselves that maybe like they don't need to be talking about, and people can like talk really badly about like the way that they look in photos. But I think that's something that like looks fun because everyone does it. So
Okay, that's a good answer. Do you ever compare yourself to influencers or friends online? How does it affect you?
influencers have, if they have like they have inspirational content, but I don't say I would compare my lifestyle to their lifestyle. I think most people do though. And that can affect the way that people post on social media and how they choose their time.
Do you think most people are their true selves on social media? Why or why not?
I think it depends on the type of content that you're posting.
I think this question is, Yana, do you think people, or kids rather, are posting things that are a true depiction of their life? And if yes, then like why? Or if not, why?
I think most people do, at least around me that I hang out with. But I do think that there are a lot of kids who don't portray a lot of their personal life into social media because it's like people like have like safety reasons for that and stuff.
Oh, okay. So you're saying that if they put too much of their true self out there, it can be kind of dangerous.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think makes a good post go viral? Is it creativity, controversy, or just luck?
I think creativity is a big part of what makes posts go viral because people can relate to that and then it can make them want to follow that trend.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
a good
think,
answer.
yeah.
If you could start your own social media trend, what message would you want it to spread?
I would want to spread the message of seeking help, and specifically for children, because I feel like a lot of times people have a hard time reaching out to people, and I think that's the good part about social media is being able to reach out to people and connect through that way versus just,
Mhm.
other things.
Do you notice your mood changes after spending time on social media? If yes, how?
Yeah, I find myself actually very tired after I use social media. It can be very draining to just scroll, scroll, scroll for hours.
Yeah, that's true. Do your friends ever talk about needing a break from social media? And why do you think that is?
I have heard a couple of people reach out to me and be like, or tell me that they think having a break from social media would be good for them because it can be exhausting and it can also make you less productive, especially with students my age, like in school. They talk about how it makes them less productive in schoolwork and getting homework done. So,
Hmm. Would you ever delete your social media for a month? Why or why not?
for me personally, right now, it's kind of useful for me because I learn a lot from social media. And it's very like influential in the sense of I can educate myself with things on social media. And I do have screen limits on those things. So I think for me right now, I don't think I'd delete it completely until it got to a point where I was too tired and it was overworking me to use it.
Yeah, that's a good answer. What's the biggest lie people tell you on social media, in your opinion?
Um, the biggest lie that people tell me in social media could be. Could you rephrase it?
Like is it are they portraying a life they shouldn't? Are they, not really showing real stuff? Like maybe,
Yeah.
their skin isn't really what it looks like,
Yeah.
or maybe they really didn't go travel this far and they're doing like green
Yeah.
screen. So do you
I
think there's
think.
anything that comes to
Yeah.
your I mean in your post that happens?
Yeah, I do think that a lot of people don't post their real lives like in social media. Like it's a lot of the times it's like the lifestyle is faked or like there's some things that are untrue about someone, but they like put it out there as if it was. So I think like lifestyle habits are what people do, and like saying like that they're always happy and stuff on social media. A lot of people do that even when they're not. And I think
Yeah.
that's something that's mainly lied
Yeah,
about.
that's a good point. The happiness aspect is a huge one. I've noticed that myself.
Yeah.
How do you decide what's worth sharing and what's better kept private?
The things that I usually keep private are things like my private stuff, like
Your address,
my address, like yeah, like my social,
where you live.
yeah, my socials,
Yeah.
you know, if you know what I mean. I like to post a lot of things about, you know, like my daily life, where I like to go, who I'm hanging out with. Like I like posting like a lot of like things that I do.
Yeah. How do you think social media is shaping how your generation sees beauty or success?
I think it's shaping both. It's shaping endless possibilities for beauty and success, but it's also shaping ways that like unrealistic beauty standards for a lot of children, especially teenagers who shouldn't be worrying about these things at a young age. I think, yeah, a lot of that also plays into success, is like the endless possibilities you can do to be successful, and which can be a good thing because there's so many different possibilities. But I think,
But it's not all realistic.
I think it's all not realistic, and it's like giving you such a far reach of things that you could be doing, but it takes a lot of time and effort to actually do that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What makes you follow or unfollow someone?
What makes me follow someone would be if they have inspirational content and educational content. I like following a lot of people who talk about like nutrition, their daily lives, like more like influential like uh things about that I could implement in my daily life.
Yeah, that's a good.
And I would unfollow people who like don't connect with what I do in my their daily life. Like if it just like not as purposeful or not as educational, I just don't really like. I just unfollow them, but I don't typically.
Have you ever felt like a trend made you question your self-worth? How did you deal with it?
Um, I think I don't think they're for me specifically.
You also just got a
Yeah,
year back. You got
I've recently gotten social media, been exposed to it.
Yeah.
I've only really had it for a couple months to a year. Uh, so for me, it hasn't yet questioned my self worth, but I do think for a lot of teenagers, they can connect with the idea of it questioning their self worth, because it can make them see like, oh, like she's prettier than me, or oh, like they're so successful and why am I not there? So I do think it can make people question a lot of their abilities.
That's true.
Yeah.
How does it feel when your post doesn't get the likes or comments you expected?
I appreciate when I get a lot of hearts and comments and likes and stuff, because it feels like people are seeing like my daily life and like they're connecting with me, so it feels appreciative.
Mhm.
But I don't think like it makes me feel sad in any way, because I just try not to let it get to me personally, because it's like
So your
it's
day
not really on
doesn't
my
depend
top.
on it.
Yeah, it's not really my top priority
Yeah.
to get the most likes, but it's like nice too, you know, just to see.
Do you think social media ever makes people feel more alone even when they're connected?
I do think social media makes people feel alone, because um even when you're connected with such a like a big group of people or even a small group of people, as soon as you put your phone down and you're like away, um you feel like, oh, like I still need that person on my phone. So like it makes you like addicted. That's what how the addiction to your phone starts, is because you're like, I need community, which is on social media. But like even if you're stepping away from social media, you realize people often realize that they don't really have anyone around them, and that's why they picked up social media in the first place.
So you're saying that it's better to make human interaction
Yeah, it's better to make human interaction like face
in
to
person.
face,
Yeah.
because that's how the addiction to social media happens, is because you don't feel like you have anyone with you.
What do you do when you see something online that makes you feel insecure or left out?
Again, like I just got social media, so nothing has really made me feel like that before, but I do think um yeah, I don't really feel like that at all. But I do think people around me do have felt like that.
But do you feel left out? Like if you see something that you know at a place that someone was, do you wish you were there?
Yeah, in that sense, sometimes I do.
Yeah.
But I just try not to let it get to me because it's not really a priority that I should be having. Like I
Because you're
should
content also.
Yeah, I'm very content in like what I do in my daily life, so I don't really let it get to me.
Yeah, that's good. How do you protect your mental health when scrolling through social media?
I would say taking breaks
Yeah.
and just making sure that you're not over scrolling or like making sure that you're just like following educational content and things like that are purposeful,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like if you're just meaningless scrolling
Mm-hmm.
and like you're just doing that, like it can really damage your brain and it cannot be good for your mental health.
Yeah. How do influences affect the way teens dress, talk, or act right now?
I think a lot of people look up to influential people and influencers because it can shape like a lot of people, like trends basically. People will follow trends and then you'll see people at school like wearing those things or like acting like them. And I think they make a lot of people, they make like big groups of communities to like look up to them, and it can like influence the way people dress, like
How they
how they
talk.
talk, what they
Mm,
eat, what
true.
they're doing, and yeah, it can just affect your daily life.
So do you think social media gives teens a voice, or do you think it's like a pressure to follow the crowd?
That's a really good question. I think that it can do both in ways. I think it can make people feel like they can have a voice on social media, and that's why the platform is there. But people can also look to people who have a voice and just follow them as well, and not feel like are they should only be following that voice. And I think like self love and self worth are like two things that people really like get wrong. Like,
I mean, so you're saying that they should have self worth and self love.
yeah, like they should have self worth and self love when they like look up to people and different.
So not to be pressured.
Yeah, like don't be pressured. Just look up to people who are good and make good decisions,
Yeah.
and follow your values and things.
So it's okay to like look at people, but it's I guess not be so like influenced by them that they forget their own self-worth and self-love.
Yeah.
I see. Okay, that's a great answer. So one I have two more questions, okay?
Mhm.
The second last question I have is there something you wish adults understood about the real pressure of being a teen that is online today using social media?
I think adults should understand that teenagers do follow a lot of people that may not be like the best influence for them, because people like to just follow trends and follow a lot of like social media that could actually be harmful to their brain and their mental
No, but
well-being.
what do you think adults understood something? So meaning like let's say you are following someone and I am telling you like, hey, no, that's not a good influence on you. But then your teen is like, no, I'm just, watching the content, watch the content.
Yeah.
So you know how that kind of a fight can happen
Yeah.
between the parent and the teen.
Mhm.
So what do you think a parent should understand from a teen's perspective? Because see, we talked about self-worth and self-love,
Mhm.
and that comes a lot later in life, right? So what that is what we're trying to teach the kids today, is the self-worth and self-love. But not every child or teen is there yet, right? So now the parents become super protective.
Mhm.
So how can we balance that?
I think limits can be good too on social
Yeah,
media
that's a
on
great
who they
answer.
should follow.
Yes.
But if your child is following people who are educational, I don't think it should be an issue, because if they're feeling self-love from using social media, parents shouldn't be as overprotective. But I can see how following uninfluential people or people who are changing that the way that they act, then I think would see it as an issue, because if it's like they're starting to have bad habits because of social media.
Mm-hmm.
I think that should be stopped by parents at all costs. But if it's not gotten to that point yet, I don't think that parents should be as worried unless your child is either spending too much time on social media or they are watching things that are uneducational and distracting to like what they should be actually doing and focusing on.
Yeah. I think one thing you touched on was you said self-love through inspirational people.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that is something we should tie our self-love and self-worth to, because we should develop that on our own. Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think open communication with your teen about who you follow,
Yeah.
and the limitation of what you just said. The limitation is important,
Mhm.
which is where I think that conversation needs to
Mhm.
happen. So that's a great answer. Thank you
Mhm.
for that.
Mhm.
My last question to you is, who do you follow that genuinely inspires you, not just entertains you? So, like, who are your some? Give me some people that you would recommend to your friends that would follow.
Oh yeah, like I follow people like Huberman, Jay Shetty, Kelsey Poulter, Mel Robbins, Dr. Amen, and yeah.
I think recently you added Diary of a CEO.
Yeah, that one's also
He's
really
really
good.
good.
Yeah. I think those 6 people, they not only like educate me in the best ways possible, they also like they're really fun to watch too, and I engage with them a lot. They're also really good for lifestyle habits and things like that. So I think that those are the things that people should be following these days, especially teenagers who are probably struggling with life and stuff.
So, what was the one advice you would want to end this today's Q&A with to, I mean, I guess give advice for parents as well as teens.
Mhm.
So what, give me anything that you think parents should follow and then teens should follow.
Okay. One piece of advice I would give to adults is make sure you have open communication with your child about the things that are good in social media and the things that are bad so you can understand from their perspective how a child might be feeling about social media. And I would talk to them about if they're changing the way they're acting because of social media and it's like for the worst, then I would reach out to your child. That's one thing that I would give for adults. One piece of advice I would give for children would be like, don't put so much pressure on yourself because of social media has expectations. Their expectations won't always be a reality. I think you should follow what is best with your values and not things that people are following just to follow because it'll help you be more productive at the end of the day. So,
awesome. Thank you for your time, Yana.
Yeah, of course.
Until next time.
All right, guys. Make sure you follow the links and you like the video if you enjoyed it. Thank you. Bye.